Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Sim Races Asia. We're coming to you live from Spa Francorchamps and for round 4. Tonight's going to be quite an interesting format because we have 2 races for you tonight. That's right, 2 sprint races. We will be broadcasting the first one, which goes for 20 minutes around Spa, and then we'll be going into another server and presenting a reverse grid race for 25 minutes. And your commentary team tonight, of course, will be myself, Francorchamps, and possibly Daniel Leet tonight. But welcome, Wihan. It's another exciting night, and we are going to be cutting across very shortly to your track walk video.
Hey buddy, hey guys. Yeah, going to be quite an exciting race tonight.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the guys have finished qualifying, folks, so we're just basically waiting now for the server to come up. But while we're waiting for that, let's cut across to Wihan's track walk video, and you can learn a little bit more about tonight's track.
Round 4, Sim Races Asia, Asia Pacific GTE Series. We go to the site of arguably the most iconic corner in motor racing, the fabled Eau Rouge. Throwing in the likes of Francorchamps, Stavelot, and the breathtaking Francorchamps, you have yourself the legendary Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, an absolute classic and home to the Belgian Grand Prix. Tonight we have with us the beautiful Ford GTE of Mohammed Alif from Simfy Motorsports, tearing through the forest of Spa. Let's jump in on his ride and have a look at his headlamp. Exiting the final chicane for the start of the lap, finding grip there as he goes for a good exit, key to go a good run down the straight. Going into last source, a low-speed hairpin, Alif brakes right after the 100-meter board as he goes close to the apex and fighting for grip as he exits, ensuring that he carries firm pace down the straight. As he then sets up and prepares to nail his entry into Eau Rouge, the weight of the car digging into the track surface, then almost goes weightless as he approaches Rd4. Beautiful execution there, taken nearly flat out in his qualifying tree. As he goes on into a long canal straight, slowly reaching top speed, heading to the left first braking point and approaching Lacombe, riding over both curbs onto the highest point of the track, then setting himself up into the high-speed Malmedy corner. Be careful not to go off track there, as he goes flat out down the hill. Locking up a bit there, going into Brussels, a long and tricky hairpin, trying to maintain his momentum, taking a late apex, as he then gets a good run into the corner with no name. Going a bit wide there, but he covers well and goes down the stretch. Approaching Francorchamps, an exciting long high-speed double apex left-hander, tapping the brakes as late as he does and trying not to run too wide on the exit to avoid losing too much time. Flat out downhill. Braking into Frank Gear 1, just hugging the inside without being too greedy over the apex and easing into the throttle and going into Frank Gear 2. Alif tries to negate understeer on entry, well balanced there, and down the short stretch into Stavelot, trying to get a good exit in order not to lose pace down the sector. Then approaching Paul Frere, near flat out, skirting the curbs on the outside, key to building a good exit. Then going flat out through the forest whilst relishing the scenery, making sure he doesn't lose too much speed. Into Francorchamps, lifting slightly there, making it through the clip, holding his breath by going slightly off there. To turn in just in time, positioning himself well as he approaches the final chicane, finessing the brakes and looking out for the meter boards and downshifting very nicely done without locking up, going over just enough curb not to go over the sleeping policeman, eyeing exit there, possible to adjust the traction control settings, taking first gear, going slightly loose but a good exit onto the main straight and the start finishing line. And that is a beautiful display of finesse here at Spa with the phenomenal Ford GT.
Fantastic video, Weehan. Well done on that. And who was the driver that was doing that hot lap tonight?
Thanks, Bernie. It was Muhammad Ali from Sim5 Motorsports.
Okay, awesome video, and well put together. In the very last minute, Weehan put that together tonight, folks, so very well done there. But as you can see now, folks, we're coming to live pictures here. The first race is coming up very shortly. They're out there practicing, and we'll be taking you through the grid very shortly. But I guess, Weehan, there's a few differences tonight we should really cover off, and that is the fact that we're actually got two races tonight. As we said in the pre-race show, we've got a 20-minute race where they'll be starting where they've qualified, and then they're going to have a 25-minute reverse grid race. So that's going to be action-packed enough, isn't it? But then on top of that, did you want to tell the viewers about the new incident limits that the drivers are going to have to look out for tonight?
Well, yes, indeed. I think it's going to be more interesting with a reverse grid second race in a double-headed sprint format, because this adds a sort of new element of challenge where faster drivers start from behind. They have to make their way through the grid in the second race. But as for the incident limit, I think that would be also another thing to look out for, because it's quite easy to go off track here, and with the limit now in place, I think drivers will have to be on their feet.
Yeah, they certainly will. Now, from what I understand, race 1, the incident limit is set at 10, and around Spa-Francorchamps, this track is unforgiving. When I race here, I used to think of it as death by 1,000 off tracks, and because you're getting off track really easily. So 10, that is very, very low. And then the second one, they've got an incident limit of 12 before they're disqualified. So the drivers are going to have to be really, really cautious, because 3 contacts and they could be disqualified from this race.
Definitely something to really look out for, especially in a track, like you said, like this. Not easy to sort of, I mean, you tend to sort of make mistakes from here and there, but it will be quite interesting. We'll see how the competition will pan out based on such factors.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it pans out. I have a feeling, folks, it is going to be a race of attrition tonight, and it's going to be something the drivers are going to have to be very, very careful about. And I tell you what, I'm glad I'm in the comm box tonight, but we're having a look at our field at the moment, folks. We have a field of 30 drivers in the top split tonight, and we'll be going through the grid very shortly, but looks like we can see Kevin Huang out on track practicing at the moment, and he's coming through to set a time now, and this is just the unofficial practice time. We are still trying to get the official qualifying times of these cars. So folks, you have on board as your commentary team tonight myself, Bernie Weemers, and Weehan Chan, coming to you live from Spa. And as we can see now, Kevin Huang is just come across the line. He set a 2:14.324, so that's up there with the qualifying times at the moment. And then George Johnson, his teammate, is sitting second fastest with a 2:15.409.
Yeah, quite an interesting gap there, but as the cars start to sort of set the lap times into the warm-up, we might see more times starting to build up.
Oh, we definitely will, and I'm just bringing, yeah, that's not going to help us. I was trying to find out the qualifying here, but we'll get to that. We'll go through the grid, and it's a rolling start here, of course, tonight, folks, so we'll have a little bit of time to go through the grid. So Weehan, how excited are you about tonight?
Well, I have good and bad memories at this track, but I mean, I think this will be quite an exciting one.
Oh, I think that it's definitely going to be an exciting one, that's for sure. And see Mike Burdett out there at the moment in the Ferrari. He's just set second fastest time at 2:13.701, so the times are tumbling. Damien McPhee has set the fastest in practice now with a 2:13.262. So it's going to be interesting. Kevin Huang, as we spoke about, he's been pushed down to third in practice, then his teammate is in fourth. Further down the grid we have Mark Simon out there for Australia-New Zealand, and he's sitting sixth fastest in practice with a 2:15.937. Then if we go further down we have Brock Craig. He's just sitting in the top 10 in practice with a 2:17.716. So there's a huge gap here between first and 10th at the moment, Weehan. We're looking at about 4 seconds, and I know this is practice, but hopefully these guys can find a bit more pace for the race.
Yes, I think the lap time difference will be quite large because purely because of the length of this track, but yes, I think we'll start to see some pace differences into the race.
Yeah, we definitely will. One of the commentators said we're going to get a 10x just for our commentating at this track, so they're probably right. We probably will get a 10x for our commentary, but you know, that's such as Spa. It's one of those love-hate relationships. Most people love it, but if they could just make those off-tracks a bit more generous, I think it'd make it a lot better. As you can see, folks, practice is now coming to an end, and then we're going to be gridding up very shortly, and we can take you through the starting grid now. So your starting grid for tonight is Damien McPhee. He's going to start out of position 1 tonight, followed by Anthony Winkleman in second. He set a time of a 2:11.980, so there's a lot of time in there for these guys. We've got Mike Burdett starting out of third. Fourth, Tobias Cherney. Great to see Tobias here tonight. Brad Watson, he's going to start out of fifth, with Martin Silvassi starting out of sixth. Out of 7th is Miko Nasi, followed by David Lord in 8th. Niranjan Kumar will start out of 9th. 10th is Kevin Huang. Then we have Ilham Halabi out of 11th. And your top 12 is Brock Craig.
Then starting off 13th we have the Ferrari of Jasmine Jali. And 14th we have Ross Rizzo. Then behind them in 15th we have Blake Neck and Matt Morris in 16th. 17th and 18th we have Stephen Bocade and Abhirafti Putra. Then behind them we have in 19th and 20th Brandon Jackson and Saiful Arifin. Behind them 21st and 22nd Brody Whitmore, Jason Vance.
Out of 23rd tonight is Ahmad Nurazam, and then Thomas Hinds will start out at 24th tonight. 25th, Shannon Mason, followed by Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira in 26th. 27th, we'll see Sean Thompson starting from that, followed by George Watson. Simon George Sanchez will start out at 29th, and rounding out your field of 30 is Mark Simon. So there you go, we covered that like a pro, didn't we? So anyway, folks, you can see them now coming around, and we are going to be racing here very quickly as we cross to the crane cam. We can see now the grid starting to sort itself out here for the start, and we're going to be racing here momentarily. We're still under starters orders. The guys are now warming their tyres up slightly. They'll come around the hairpin up here, and that is basically up at La Source, and then they'll take the start flag coming down towards Eau Rouge and Radion.
Yes, great start there by Damien McPhee as he starts to pull the grid in front. Going down the straight. Yes, very nicely done by Damien there.
Yeah, we've got Damien McPhee leading, Anthony Winkleman in second at the moment, folks. Mike Burdett, well, Mike's up. We've got a car into the wall already. I think that might have been Winkleman.
Yes, it does look like it happened.
It definitely was Anthony Winkleman there, folks. We'll, you know, we were talking about it in the pre-race. That is going to hurt big time, not only physically but in points. Got another car around up at Lacoons for the first time. 2 cars into each other back there. So this is going off like the 4th of July at the moment, folks. Smoke everywhere. Another car into the wall in the background. We are.
Wow, that's starting to look like quite a lot of mayhem here. Lost the shunt right there. But now looking at the Ford GTE machine of Niranjan and Kumar going down into Puhon, I think this part of the grid right in front, it actually looks quite clean at this stage.
Yeah, so the top 6, as we can see, they've got away pretty nicely here, and then further deeper down, that's where all the action's coming from. As we can see now, Blake Neck in 14th. He's got, who's that in front of him? It looks like it may be Jason Bence. It is trying to make a move in the laser racing entry. Tucks back in again, but Jason is on the march forward at the moment. So I think, folks, while we complete lap 1 here, we should go back and have a look at some of the carnage here tonight in our slow-mo. The first one we're going to be looking at is Anthony Winkleman. So you can see there, he just basically got it all wrong. The car slapped him into the wall, and man, that was a hard hit. Definitely a hard hit right there on the extra lucky on corner. I think he might have just lost the rear end there. Once he sort of left the crest there, just lost it into the wall. Yeah, and he's still going at the moment, folks. He's sitting down in 27th. He's not shy. He's having a drag race at the moment, but it's not going to work on the outside. Deep under brakes here for Anthony. Cutting across, he actually made it work, so he's proved a liar out of me. So looking further at our replays here, folks, we did have another issue with Brad Watson, and we'll have a look at what occurred to him here. So it's further along the track here by the looks of it, and he's going to make a liar out of me as well. So looks like he got out of that. So let's go back to live pictures. So we can see Brad Watson at the moment is in the pits. It looks like we may have also had a retirement or a car that did not start. That was Abrafadi Raditya Putra. But looking up front, Damien McPhee now has a gap of 1.7 seconds, folks, followed by Mike Burdett, 0.2 of a second. Tobias Cherney, he's sitting in 3rd. Then we've got Martin Silvassi just behind him in 4th position. David Lord 5th. He's coming under pressure now from David Huang though. Brock Craig is up to 7th. Ilham Halabi 8th. 9th Ross Rizzo. Rounding out your top 10 is Matt Morris. Yes, as they enter start lot right now and into the backstretch, looks like quite an interesting competition that might start to unfold from here. Yeah, well, 16 minutes of this race going. Remember, it's timed racing, folks. They have a total of 10 incident points. I'm sure some of these guys have already chewed up half of them just in the first couple of corners here. We're riding with Kevin Huang, and who was that in front of him? That was David Lord getting it wrong and almost coming together there. So David now, he's continuing on in 6th position, but it looked a little bit iffy there, Weehan. Just having a look at the replay. Yeah, I think he did have a bit of an issue under brakes there. Yeah, he did lose it. I think he did lock up quite a bit there into the corner. Yeah, I reckon you're right. And of course, folks, these cars do not have any ABS. They're full-blown racing cars, unlike the GT3. So the guys are going to have to get used to that. By now, though, you would think they would be. This is round 4 of the the GTE Asia Pacific. So we now see Brock Craig coming under brakes. He's having a look, but thinks twice of it, and just there in front of him is Ilham Halabi trying to chase down David Lord. Yep, heading down into Brussels, happy now, still looking to sort of form up into a three-way battle right now. Going into the corner with no name into the stretch there. Not sure if this will start to close up together. Yeah, and you've got to love that corner with no name, don't you?
Yeah, that corner is actually quite easy to go off track there, as you might have seen from the hot lap video earlier.
Yeah, and we can see further back the field up front spread out a bit, folks, but you can see now Stephen Bacade throwing the car in, and he takes that position. We've got Thomas Inns out there, and where's Thomas? That's actually Thomas that made that move, and who's he passed? Stephen Bacade, so he's just passed Stephen, moving him up to third. Jason Bence is still sitting up the road in 13th. And then who we've got? Ahmad Nurazam. So there's quite a good battle here going on between Thomas, Steve Bacade, and potentially Ahmad here, Weeham.
Yeah, but good battle here as they approach the final bus stop chicane. They're going a bit wide there for Mazda, and might see a sort of braking competition right now. Entering the chicane, no overtakes so far.
No, and we saw this last week, didn't we, at Lime Rock? There wasn't a lot of overtakes, but then again, they were doing 45-second laps around there, and very, you know, it was like a Grand Prix around a clothesline. And this week, of course, they can spread out a little bit on this beautifully long track. The difference is 2 minutes 13 around this circuit, and it gives them a little bit of time to plan and set up some attacks.
Yeah, definitely a good combination of long straights and interesting corners, as well as elevation changes. I think some of them they'll be able to make use of these to their advantage and try to plan out different moves at different stages.
Yeah, exactly right. And Steve Bacade there blinked out a little bit, folks, but he's back. And I tell you what, when that happens, you've got to hold your breath. We saw that, of course, in the V8 Supercar race last Friday night. And if you didn't see that, go and check it out on RRTV, because that was an awesome race. But yeah, we lost the leader out of that due to internet failure, so it does happen quite a bit.
Yes, that's the unique thing with iRacing, you know, internet being one of the factors in play in sim racing. Might just happen.
Yeah, so looking up front at the moment, folks, of the gap, Damien McPhee, he has a gap of 3.7 seconds, so he's absolutely running away from this. Mike Burdett's looking 1 second safe from Tobias Cherney in third. Kevin Huang, though, he's starting to close in now on Martin Silvassi. So Kevin's got the pace here tonight, and he's looking pretty racy out there.
Yeah, he does have a pace there, and he actually approaches Blanchimont now with Martin right in front of him. He might have a chance to sort of gain on him on this chicane here.
Yeah, we're on the nose cam here as he comes in under brakes, and you can just see how tight that is. He tucks it in. Does he get a good run? He does, but so does Martin Silvassi, and it looks like Martin actually got a better run out of there.
Yes, approaching Lassos right now. Another opportunity to try to outbreak your opponent, but nah, Kevin doesn't seem to get it as well right now compared to Martin. And as they head on bumper to bumper down the straight into a rouge, no moves done so far.
Yeah, we're riding with Kevin at the moment as he goes through our rouge there, and we'll get a top speed reading here on our telemetry. He's in the slipstream now, pulling in Martin. I think he's just going to run out of time. Martin covers him off, and I didn't get the top speed. I was too excited, but they were doing at least 260 kilometres an hour. That's my expert opinion, Weehan.
Yes, does look like they've been able to reach quite high speed with the drafts to Kevin's advantage. Now entering the Brussels hairpin, trying to keep the momentum steady into, again, the corner with no name, holding it together well, Kevin into that corner. And yeah, another track race down into Pujon. Yeah,
so it's Ferrari versus Ford here, and it'll be interesting to see the strengths of these cars at the moment, but Kevin's car does look hooked up tonight, and he's doing a great job sitting in fifth. He looks like he's got the better of Martin through this part of the circuit, but it's just a matter of whether he can actually capitalise on any of this. At the moment he can't, and we'll see if Martin's got his measure.
Yeah, if he had taken, not sure if it's taken a good exit right there, but now he goes into the backstretch here. long stretch down, I think Martin is starting to already pull away.
Yeah, my expert guess was fairly close. I said 260 kilometres an hour. One of the viewers said it was actually 265 kilometres an hour, so that's massive. But at the moment we can see now Kevin having a look on the outside. That's not going to work. Tucks the nose back in, coming back out of here. Does he get a better run? No, he doesn't. Martin's really good at that part of the circuit, and this is really where Kevin has to capitalise, isn't it? As he comes up here into La Source, he has to get an awesome run here, tuck in behind Martin, go through Eau Rouge and Radion, and then try to get him up the Camel Straight.
Definitely, I think that's one of the strategies that people try to use. They try to use this bus stop chicane and the La Source to build up, and once they pass this Eau Rouge and Radion, they start to build enough pace. As you can see now, Kevin has actually made it up to Martin, and now he's making a pass towards his left, going in too wide, and Kevin has just gone ahead of Martin. Kevin moves up to P4.
Yeah, so good move there. He went fairly deep under brakes there. Martin did back it out. He didn't force the issue so much, and I wonder if that incident limit cap is sort of weighing on the back of their minds. But awesome pass there by Kevin Huang, moves him up to 4th position, and I'd say he's the first of the Asian drivers tonight.
Definitely, I think that was a really sportsman-like driving there in part of Kevin and Martin.
Yeah, it was good driving, and we can see now Ilham Halabi. He's now starting to put a little bit of pressure on Martin Silvassi, and he wants to get that car moving up a position. Behind them we've got teammates David Lord, Brock Craig, both from Australia and New Zealand, and back there in 9th, keep an eye on him as the race progresses, is Ross Rizzo from Australia, and having a good run there.
Yeah, Ross has quite an interesting paint scheme right on his Ford right now. Just looking at it.
Yeah, it certainly does, and the cars that are in trouble out there, folks, there's a few. The main ones at the moment, though, is Brodie Whitmore. Looks like he has retired from tonight's race. He was 1 lap down, sitting in 28th, and Brad Watson, we saw him come to grief in the first lap. He's still sitting in there trying to get that car serviced, Weehan.
Yeah, I think they might have just ended their race earlier there. But even behind them, I think at the bottom end of the grid, we have Abhirafti Putra, who's 5 laps down, but he's still running the race, running strongly.
Yeah, we're looking at the bumper cam now, rear bumper cam of Martin Silvassi here. You can see now Ilham Halabi starting to close in. He wants to make a move. 6 minutes of racing to go, and you can just see him closing up. This is where Martin is very weak, and it looks like the pass is going to be a fairly easy one as they go too wide up the Camel Straight now, and then they're going to break into Lacombe. It looks like Martin may go down another position.
Yeah, I think Martin has just lost 2 positions in a matter of 2 or 3 laps. Now we have Ilham and Kevin, both teammates now in P4 and P5.
Yeah, and then behind Martin we've got teammates David Lord and Brock Craig now closing up, but it looks like Martin's car is just not very good coming out of Radion there, and you can see him. We'll actually jump on board with him next time. The car's actually floating a little bit too far out over that ripple strip, which I think's unsettling the Ferrari a little bit.
Yeah, it's quite a difficult section right there, but as they enter Poohon right now, sorry.
That's alright. That's alright. Not a problem at all. But you can see now Ilham Halabi in 5th. So this is good team points for these two, for Kevin and Ilham. So they'll be very happy with their performance here tonight, that's for sure. And 4 minutes 57 seconds to go. If we look at our top 10, we still have Damien McPhee in the lead, 3.5 seconds over Tobias Cherney. Mike Badette's 1.1 seconds down in 3rd. Kevin Huang 4th, 5th. Ilham Halabi 6th. Martin Silvassi. David Lord 7th. 8th. Brock Craig 9th. Ross Rizzo, and your top 10 is Matt Morris. But we can see there Martin is really struggling here. He went deep under brakes. This is going to allow David Lord to get a run with him. And as promised, folks, let's jump in with Martin here into the gyro cam. So we'll just see how that car's performing as he comes down here through Radion. See in the back there David Lord tucking in, but he's good here on the entry, but it's this part, mid-corner, and he then starts getting it unsettled through this bit. That's actually a better exit than he got last time. You can see in the back David just now starting to close up, but that was a better run there for Martin.
Yeah, both of them trying to, David trying to get a look down, Martin right now entering Le Kumbo right now. Just really make the move.
No, he wasn't far enough up there, but that's the thing, isn't it, when you've got such a long camel straight there, that toe these guys get up there is phenomenal, and it makes you a sitting duck, that's for sure. And looking further back in the field, let's go down deeper here. We've got Thomas Hinds at the moment clearing Jason Bentz, but now Jason is under battle here by Ahmed Nurazam. Steve Bacade's involved in this this little skirmish. Miko Nasi just behind them, and then Sean Thompson. So we've got a battle pack forming here of around about 4 to 7 cars if they can close the gap a little bit more.
Yeah, it does look like it's starting to form up into a multi-way battle right now. Riding on Miko Nasi right now, entering the SS, trying to get a gain of the 3 cars in front of him.
Yeah, so Miko's definitely, he comes from Finland, so it's great to see him racing down here. We've also got, of course, Tobias Czerny. He's another European joining us in this series, which is absolutely fantastic as well. So it's quite good to see we're getting more than just the Asia Pacific drivers coming in and joining us in this championship.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming quite exposure sort of going out a bit. But it's key to know that Miko actually lives in Malaysia.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So I didn't know that, so I'm learning something. And of course, you know, it's great to have our freelance statistician joining us tonight in the combox. Well, he's in the chat room actually, but he's the one feeding us some statistics, and it's great to have him doing that as well. He's got his slide rule out, Wehan, and probably got the book of history out, and trying to come up with some interesting stats for us.
Right, very helpful there. I will do, thank you. Just riding back on Miko Nasi right now, just gone over Radion corner. Building up at this camel straight there, gaining on, starting to perhaps gain on Stephen Bacade.
Yeah, we're having a look back at Miko. It's, I think we jumped onto the wrong car there, folks, because it's actually Shannon Mason back there having a good battle. We'll jump back to him and have a look at how that's going.
Yeah, but I think Sean has just been overtaken just now, leaving Normandy corner.
Yeah, and 49 seconds of this race to go, folks. It goes really quickly here. They're only really completed 8 laps, but now we can see Miko Nasi on the inside of Steve Bacade, and he moves up to 14th position. He'll be looking at Ahmad next, so Miko is definitely on the move at the moment.
Yeah, Miko on the move right now, I think, with pressure coming from behind him.
We can see now Damien McPhee coming down the second last time, as he is just coming through the chicane onto the start-finish straight here up towards La Source. 4 seconds to go, he should get the white flag, and of course this is a staggered start-finish, isn't it? And 1 more lap to go here tonight for race 1, but it's looking pretty good for Damien, although it must be said Tobias Czerny has gained about 2 seconds on him, and he's 1 second down the road from him.
Yep, no doubt. Looks like a 1-2 fight right here with both cars. I think quite a margin in front of the rest of the grid now.
Yeah, so of course Tobias is going to get this toe. You can see him closing up now. This is going to help him if he can close up into Lacoombs, down through Bruxell's corner with no name. I keep on forgetting that name. Into Puon. If he can start pulling this in, which he is, he may be in for a shot of snatching this win.
Definitely, as they have actually already closed in quite a bit into Brussels corner right now. Like you said, they are starting to close in by a bit there into the corner with no name, now into the straights, maintaining the pace there.
Yeah, well, the gap is down to around about 0.5 of a second. It's going up and down a little bit. It's gone out 0.6 there. It looks like Damien's awesome around that part. But I tell you what, Tobias has gained a lot. He's up 2 positions from when he started, but he may be up to 3 if he can get a great run down here into Blanchimont and under brakes into chicane. It could be interesting.
Yes, indeed, as they are now approaching perhaps the last half a lap. Quite an interesting sort of completion unfolding right now. Tobias perhaps slowly gaining onto Damien in front of him.
Yeah, it's going to be close here. We can see Tobias closing up that gap now, and we'll see what is he going to do under brakes. He's right on behind him. He's thinking about it, but then he Damien's getting a bit of a slide there. Tobias lifts. I think it's going to be Damien's there, but only just as Tobias Cherney comes home just behind him in 2nd position. A great finish by those 2 drivers there. Mike Burdett, he'll come home in 3rd. Kevin Wang and Ilham Halabi home in 4th and 5th, followed by Martin Silvassi holds on just in front of David Lord and Brock Craig. Ross Rizzo was also making a lot of inroads on that lap. So we can see now Ahmed Nourazam in 13th position, and just behind him it looks like we've got Steve Bacade and Shannon Mason. So that's for 13th, 14th, 15th.
Yes, and I don't think I'm able to see who else is behind.
So our statistician has come out with some more information here for us, folks, and he's telling us, and this is not me, this is the statistician. Schumacher made his Grand Prix debut for Jordan in 1991 at Spa, and he broke a clutch. And the statistician also said he then went on and won his first, well, he won his first race the next year at Spa. So that was Schumacher, so that was good. But it looks like our statistician might be hanging up his hat. But we'll see. He might pull out some more information for us.
Right, very interesting information there, thank you. And I think actually Ali told me earlier today, and along the Camel Street, there was also a side of quite an interesting pass between Mika Hakkinen and Schumacher.
Yeah, there's probably been quite a few interesting passes up Camel Street there, and you know that has a lot of action. It's just a crazy, scary part of the circuit coming through by Rouge Radion up on the Camel Street there. You really you have to grow on big to do it fast through there, I think.
Yes, I think you need quite a lot of balls of steel to actually make it. Just get everything on point throughout that stretch.
Yeah, and they're going to need balls of steel for the next race, folks. Stick with us. We'll be going to a new server very shortly. It's a reverse grid race, and that's going to be fireworks, I tell you. But let's go through results of race 1 here. Damien McPhee took the win. He started from pole, and he finished on pole. Tobias Cherney up 2 positions from when he started, coming home in 2nd. Mike Burdett, he comes home in 3rd, followed by Kevin Huang in 4th. 5th, Ilham Halabi, and 6th is Martin Silvassi. Home tonight in 7th, and up 1 position was David Lord, followed by Brock Craig in 8th. Ross Rizzo jumped up 5 positions to come home in 9th, followed by Matt Morris in 10th, who jumped up 6th. The mover and shaker tonight so far, Thomas Hinds, up 13 positions from when he started to come home in 11th, and right behind him Jason Bentz up 10 positions, coming home tonight in 12th position. Home in 13th was Miko Nasi. He dropped 6 positions, so he's going the other way. Ahmed Nurzam, home in 14th. 15th is Steve Bacade, followed by Shannon Mason in 16th. 17th, Siriful Arafin. 18th was Brendan Jackson. Sean Thompson, he comes home in 19th, followed by Anthony Winkleman. We saw Anthony in that massive crash at the start. He dropped 18 positions, but he also got it back up to 20th. So a bit of a saving grace there, and he didn't get disqualified with incident limits. Mark Simon, he came home in 21st. 22nd, George Watson, or Johnson. Simon George Sanchez comes home in 23rd. Jazreen Jali, he dropped 11 positions for a minute where he started to come home in 24th. Niranjan Kumar, he dropped 16 positions to finish in 25, and then in 26th was Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira. 27th, Abrafadi Rijata Putra. Then in 28th, Blake Neck, and it looks like he retired. So did Brodie Whitmore, and so did Brad Watson. So that is your field, folks. And Weehan, it looks like we may have an interview with Tobias. Should I bring him up and you can have a chat with him?
Yeah, indeed, Tobias, having done a fantastic race today.
So go for the interview, Weehan. Tobias is in the green room.
Right, hi Tobias. Yeah, welcome to the Redback Racing TV commentary booth. We were just sort of covering your race earlier, and I think you've done quite a really nice job holding off second towards the end of the race. How was the race from your perspective?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. That sounded a bit like I was under pressure to hold on for second. Well, actually, yeah, I tried to apply some pressure to Damien. He locked up the brakes into the final corner, but yeah, not enough to cause some major issues. So yeah, race was pretty good. Unfortunately, in the first lap, Anthony spun out, and in the second lap, it was Brad who lost the rear end coming out of Eau Rouge. And from then on I had only to pass one car and tried to catch Damien up front, but yeah, in the end, one more lap I would have needed, I would guess. But good racing.
Yeah, it was definitely a fantastic race there. I think you were able to sort of put in quite a lot of pressure against Damien going towards the end of the race, but Bernie, anything you'd like to add?
No, it was a great race, Tobias. We saw you, last time we saw you were about 4 seconds down from Damien, but you definitely closed up there and it looked like you're on for a win. So awesome drive.
Yeah, thank you. I also improved my setup from compared to 2 weeks ago. I was on a different attempt, I would say. Now I have found something that suits me way better, doesn't kill the tires as much, and also gives me more cornering speed, which was that was what was lacking at Nürburgring, if I remember correctly. Like going through these slow corners, I was standing in the way of the guys behind, and they had basically an easy job then to pass me. And yeah, I was defending with everything I had. Tires were down and so on. But now, obviously, Spa is a track that I like, and I've put a bit more practice into it with a better setup. Yeah. Was good racing. I was surprised about the qualifying pace that Damien had in there. Like he was doing an 11.7 or something. I was at 12.4. I've seen a couple of 10s, but an 11 was quite an impressive lap, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely was an impressive lap. Now, looking at race 2, the servers are up, so we're going to let you go very shortly, so you can...
no worries, no worries. I have no TeamSpeak server to escape to, so...
Now, it's a reverse grid the next race, which means you're probably going to start second last. How do you feel about that, Tobias?
Well, it will be interesting for sure. With a higher ping for me, I guess I will see things. I don't know. I will drive careful as usual, try not to hit anybody, try not to being hit. And then once the field settles down, I try to make some passes I don't know how easy it will be because I'm running quite a high wing setting. So depending on the weather, I might go down to 3 wing setting. But yeah, the car is so fast in corners, but if I go down more, it gets unstable. So yeah, I will see how it does work out.
Okay, I can sense a bit of nervous hesitation in your voice, Tobias, but best of luck.
It was fun, so it's fine. I'm not really. I already missed 2 rounds. Not really going for the championship. I'm trying to challenge the guys in these races here, and yeah, have some good, fine battles. Yeah,
fantastic. Well, you better go. Jump in the ice bath or whatever you sim racers do between races, get ready, and we'll be racing here in 10 minutes.
Alright.
No worries. And folks, that was Tobias Cherney joining us in the combox tonight. Jumped 2 positions from where he started, finishing second, just behind our race leader, Damien McPhee. But we're just going to cut across now very quickly to a commercial break while we set up the next server, and then we'll be back for the reverse grid race, folks. Hold on to your hats, it's going to be awesome. Hi there folks, welcome back to RRTV's live telecast of the Asia Pacific GTE Series Round 4 coming to you live from Spa-Francorchamps. You can see the server has just come up, folks, and the guys are out there practicing, and then we will call it. Now, there's been a little bit of an issue with the reverse grid, the way it was set up, so we've jumped into the room that has Damien McPhee in it, our race 1 top split winner, and we'll cover that, but some of the drivers may be in a different room for this race. So we're starting to get ready, and we're going to call this race very shortly.
Just loading the session.
That's alright, when you've loaded it, my friend, we'll be in and running, but I'd like to welcome everybody that's joined us for tonight, whether you're watching us through iRacing Live or whether you've joined us on our YouTube channel. You're all very welcome, and we hope you're enjoying this telecast of the Asia Pacific GTE Series. And as we can see out there, David Lord is out setting a bit of a time, getting used to the car again, and no doubt the nerves might be starting to get to a few of these drivers for this reverse grid race.
Yes, certainly with the reverse grid, I think there's a new element of challenge there, because faster drivers have to start behind and sort of slower drivers start in front, and there will be a stage where they have to try to make it past and make their way through the grid.
Yeah, so the room we are looking at, folks, I'm just having a look now to make sure we've got the right room. I think we do. We've got Mike Burdett at the moment. He set provisionally the fastest time with a 2:12. Then we've got David Lord. I'm just having a look down to see where Damien McPhee is, because he should be in here. Yeah, he's sitting in 22nd at the moment, but because it's a reverse grid, we're going to expect him probably to start at the end of this field. We have 26 drivers returning for this race, Weehan.
Yeah.
Are you still loading, are you?
Yeah, I'm still loading right now.
Okay, that's fine. I'll keep on talking. When you're ready, we'll go with it. But let's have a look at our race information, folks. So, of course, we're coming to you live from Belgium tonight, and you can see the race length is not 0 laps. It's just that they're practicing, but it's going to be a 25-minute timed race, reverse grid. Track length tonight, 6.93 kilometres or 4.31 miles. So it is a very big track, if not one of the biggest tracks we go to, because, of course, we don't race on Nordschleife. Looking at the weather, it's mostly cloudy out there today, 28 degrees Celsius or 82 degrees Fahrenheit, so not too hot for the drivers tonight.
Yeah, weather does seem to be quite in favour of the drivers tonight. Not too hot and not too cold either. I think this will play in most drivers' favour.
Yeah, certainly will, and just having a look, our statistician, he's been working hard over this break, and I tell you what, he's, yeah, I'll read some of those, but it looks like we're coming up to gridding up here, so let's have a look at our grid while they are gridding up, folks, because it's going to be mighty interesting. So let's have a look. So out of pole will be Brad Watson tonight, followed by Abrafadi Radichaputra out of second. Third will be Cody Bircher tonight. Then we have Hidayatullah Hasanuddin, in fourth. Fifth is Mark Simon. Starting out of sixth tonight, Sean Thompson. Azrael Nazli out of eighth. Siaful Arafin out of ninth with Shannon Mason. He'll start out of 10th. Out of 11th is Carlos Fu. And rounding out your top 12 is Jamie McKnight.
Yeah, starting from 13th, we have the number 21 machine of Nico Nasi. Beside him is Chandra Young. Behind them in 15th and 16th, we have Thomas Hinz and Andrew Stokes. Behind them, 17th, Ross Rizzo. 18th, Indra Ferianto. 19th, David Lord. 20th, Andrew Ambadal.
out at 20.
Behind that, sorry.
It's alright. Ilham Halabi will start out at 21st. Nuno Piera Tang out at 22nd. 23rd, Mike Burdett. 24th, Mohammed Faris bin Muratsta. 25th, Damien McPhee. And then in 26 we have Mark Lang, but I'm not sure if Mark's actually racing or if he's going to be doing the live race admin tonight.
Yeah, well, just looking at the grid now, I think it's actually RB is actually starting first right now. Brett doesn't seem to be on the grid now.
We can see the field, a bit smaller field tonight than the first one, but the rooms have been a little bit mixed up here, so as always we'll see them coming up here into La Source. They will come down the straight towards Eau Rouge, get the check start-finish flag to commence this race. 25 minutes, and I tell you what, 12 incident points. What could possibly go wrong with a reverse grid race at Spa tonight?
Everything, actually. I think it'll be better. We'll have to see how the drivers manage it. But as they enter La Source now, we're going onto the start-finishing line. Cars going off right now. RB Rafti, perhaps, was it him? No, sorry, Cody leading the grid right now. Good start there, down the straight into Eau Rouge.
Yeah, so of course we'll watch the other cars come through this grid as they come through Eau Rouge. Radeon for the first time up onto Camel Straight. It's looking like a nice clean start in the first half of the field, and we're on the crane here, folks, so you can see them snaking their way up for the first time on Camel Straight up into Lacoons.
Yes, I'll be leading the grid down into Lacombe and into Malmedy right now. Good start by him so far.
Yeah, so looking at your top 10 at the moment, we've got Abrafadi in first, second Cody Bircher, third Mark Simon, Matthew Clough at fourth, Azrael Nasli fifth, Sean Thompson still sitting in sixth, seventh, Seaful Arafin eighth, Shannon Mason, Jamie McKnight ninth, Miko Nasi, he's sitting in 10th position at the moment, but the action's going to come at the back of the field where we can see now Damien McPhee, race 1 winner, starting to work his way through. Oh, there's contact, and there's a car rolling into the fence, folks. That is all come loose here at Blanchimont, and all we can hear is a lot of banging going on.
Yes, a series of massive shocks right now. Maybe not the ideal start that they wanted, but I think they're slowly making their way up to the front.
Yeah, and we can see now Damien McPhee already up to 17th position here as we ride with him, race 1 winner, and I tell you what, he is going to have his hands full for the first couple of laps. Of course, he has to try to get his way through this field as quickly as he possibly can if he's got any hope whatsoever of winning this race tonight.
Certainly, right in front of him, a massive traffic jam, what it looks like. As they go into the final chicane there, all of them starting to brake, and no contact seems to be clean so far.
Yeah, and we just had another car go off in front of him. I think that was Mike Burdett spinning in front of him there, but now Damien will get a run out here. He'll probably go for an over-under if he can, and see how he goes as it comes on to Blanchimont for the second time tonight. 22 minutes of this race remaining, and I'm sure there's going to be more action before we're finished.
Yes, definitely a lot of action to take place there. And also remember, 12 incident points, I think quite a lot of drivers have already eaten up perhaps 1/3 or half of that sort of limit already.
Yeah, we can see now Damien getting a run. Nuno sitting right in the middle of the track. He's going to make him go around the outside here. Nuno awesome under brakes, and he holds him out, and he's not going to make it easy for Damien, and nor should he. He's a racing driver, of course.
Definitely not easy right there, and looks like a massive freight train down into Brussels now. Nuno locking up a bit, taking the outside line. I think Damien has just taken his inside.
Yeah, and I'm going back to see if we can find who that car was that rolled, folks, because that was a monumental crash. I think it might have been Seaful Arafin, and we'll jump back and have a look at that as they come through Blanchimont for the second time here. So we're at the replay of what occurred a lap before here, folks, and we are looking at Saraful Arifin here to see, well, this is actually after Blanchimont, so where did he come off? I think he was the one that spun in front of Damien coming into the chicane. So we'll go further back, and I'm determined to find our victim. Okay, it might have actually been Matt Clowett here. Sorry folks, I'm just trying to find this action. And we can see here Thomas Hinds, and it might have been Thomas that had this problem, but we'll soon find out as they're coming down to Blanchimont. Yeah, Thomas got into the side of one of the Ferraris straight across the road. Oh no, it wasn't him that had flipped at all, it was his teammate. Oh my god, can you imagine what the debrief is going to be like tonight?
Oh, that looks like quite an absolutely painful contact there.
Certainly does. His teammate in the wall, upside down. Thomas very red-faced going past, and yeah, there'll be a little bit of a debrief there, but it looks like that's what happens in this style of reverse grid racing.
Yeah, definitely quite a lot of carnage, quite a lot of drama, as maybe I think because most of them, they're trying to make the move in front. They get a bit aggressive, trying to get the move done, and you know, things might just happen.
Yeah, well at the moment one thing that is happening is Damien McPhee, he's already up to 9th position. He's 14.6 seconds now off the lead, and he's closing. We've got Abrifurda Putra leading this race. Sean Thompson, he's moved up into 2nd now and trying to close that gap. Then we've got Cody Bircher 3rd, 4th. Right behind him is Mikko Nasi, so Mikko is also having a good fight here with Cody.
Yeah, Mikko putting pressure onto the car in front of him, or onto Cody right now. As they go into start block 2 now, key to get a good accident. Mikko goes a bit wide there. Maybe I think he's just lost his advantage.
Yeah, if your microphone still sounds like you've got a bit of a cyborg voice going on there, Weehan, but we'll just stick with it, and hopefully you can get that sorted for the next one. I'm sure you've just been watching Terminator. I'm sure that's what it is.
Nah, I swear my mic was working fine right before that. Anyway, back onto Mikko right now. I digress. He almost made a pass on Cody just now. Now they're entering into La Source right now. Going into the apex exit there, down a downhill into the straight. Hopefully try to make a move up a huge.
Yeah, he'll tuck in here as he comes through into Radion and Eau Rouge here and up onto Camel Straight. He needs a good run here. He's already starting to close, and I'm pretty sure he will make this move pretty easily. Or then again, go.
Yeah, it makes his move. He takes Cody by the outside, and now he's gone up to 3rd, I think. Up to 3rd into Lacombe.
Yeah, that was a very Formula 1 type pass, wasn't it? I'm sure he had 2 wheels on the grass there as Cody defended and pushed him across the track a little bit, but of course, you know, that's fine. He didn't run into him or anything. He's just defending his position. And now Damien McPhee, we can see on screen, he's up to 8th. Matt Clowett's just ahead of him, David Lord ahead of Matt. So as this race continues though, and he gets further up the field, he's going to find it more difficult. That gap, 13.2 seconds now from 8th up to the leader.
Yeah, looks like quite an interesting battle now as Damien closes into Matthew. Might have looked down, almost contacting there. I think he got a bit greedy on the entry into the S's there.
Yeah, well, he's already up 16 positions from where he started at the back of the grid here. One thing what he's going to have to watch for, though, is the different braking. As you can see, he's so much faster out of there, and he's going to have to make sure that when he's coming up behind these guys, if they brake a bit earlier, that he doesn't he doesn't drill them, but he makes that pass on the outside as they're coming down into Blanchimont there, makes the move pretty easily, already up into 7th now. David Lord's just ahead of him, and David's got his hands full battling with Andrew Stokes at the moment.
Yeah, very clean pass there by Damien into Blanchimont there, as he now goes closer into David Lord, and David Lord also goes closer into Andrew.
Yeah, we're looking at the rear bumper of Andrew here, and you can see David, but right behind him, of course, is Damien. And we'll stay with this angle because I reckon we're going to see Damien come flying out past David up here, and possibly towards Andrew by the end of Camel Straight.
Yes, that's what look like quite an exciting battle right now. Takes the right of David, and he actually forces a 3 wide right now.
Yeah, 3 wide, and we can see Damien inside. David's made a position up. Andrew relegated 2 positions back, but an awesome drive by both of those guys. All of a sudden, Damien McPhee, 2 cars, he's up to 5th. He's on the move, folks. 12.5 seconds is the gap from him to the lead. 15 minutes to go. Anyone want to make a bet? Do you reckon he could win this?
Hard to tell, but he's just made a move his past 2 cars in just within a span of few seconds, and I think he does stand quite a chance.
Yeah, the way he's going, he does stand quite a chance, but at the moment, Abrafadi, he is making hay while the sun's shining here. The gap is 4.3 seconds back to Sean Thompson. If we look at Abrafadi here, he's lapping his last lap 2:13.096. Damien McPhee's last lap was a 2:12.406, so only 0.8 of a second difference, and he's got to pull in 12.5 seconds. We'll see what the gap is this time. But to win this, I reckon he's going to have to pull in about 1 second a lap to be any chance of winning this.
Yeah, but I think Abi has been doing quite well so far, having been able to hold on to first place throughout the race. And with Sean, I think 4 seconds behind him, I think he's doing quite well.
And meanwhile, our statistician, folks, is poring over the books back there, and we've got a few more here. One is Weehan, did you know Kimi Raikkonen's career, he's won a 5th of his career victories here at Spa?
Can't remember that, sorry.
In other words, no, you didn't know that.
Nah, I've not been watching Formula 1 for quite a long time.
Oh my goodness me, I thought everyone, well then again, you're probably right there, I don't think you're missing much, but looking at the moment, Damien McPhee, he's not missing much. He's just got past Cody Bircher here on Camel Straight. Pretty much the same move he made on David Lord, and he's moved up to 4th. He's 6 seconds down now from Damien McPhee. The live gap, folks, from him to 1st is 10.7 seconds, 13 minutes remaining, and it's starting to look good for Mr. McPhee.
It is really looking good for Mr. McPhee. I think he's just made another move right behind there at Lacombe, and I think that might just be the part of the track where he has the best advantage.
Yeah, well, he passed Cody Bircher there, and Sean Thompson's had an off. Sean's back to 6th. So we'll jump back and have a look at this, folks, because he was running very strongly up until he had a bit of a problem here, and he lost it and spun the car there. That was in Pouon, and yeah, that's a tricky part of the circuit, isn't it?
Certainly difficult. I mean, as you might have seen from the hot lap video earlier, you have to get your braking just nice there, or you'll either run wide or you spin wide.
Yeah, and he's looped it there, and he came in, and Cody Bircher's having a crack at him now. Of course, we're on replay still here, folks, and Andrew Stokes is behind him, and we'll just see if Cody can make a position as we jump back to live pictures now. And Cody's into the back of Sean, and Sean's around again.
Yeah, I think it's been quite unfortunate for him. 2 incidents in 1 lap.
He's come back on the circuit right in front of Mike Simon there, and he's getting out of the way, but Yeah, Mr. Thompson's had a bit of a problem in this lap. He's dropped down to 12th position, 5 positions from where he started, and he's getting his ears boxed a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, but I think it's starting to get quite a little painful for him now, having lost so many positions in just one lap. And well, but I think he might try to make a move right now, going into Rouge Optical Cladion. Nope.
You can see David Lord, he's just made a position up on Cody Bircher. That moves David up into 4th position, Cody down to 5th. Damien McPhee now, folks, he's up to 3rd position, 8.7 seconds down from the lead. You can see Andrew Stokes now, he's coming under pressure from Ilham Halabi, and that is for 7th position.
Yep, and Ilham's car looks quite a bit beat up there, but as they enter the no-name corner again, going down the back straight, entering Puchon, I think Ilham is setting himself up for an overtake soon.
Yeah, so Ilham's now having a look here, and he's going to get a run. Is he going to... Oh, he does. Andrew backs out of that and gives him that position. He's being a little bit cautious, I'd say, thinking of the incident limit at the back of his mind here. And at the moment, folks, it looks like we have lost Brad Watson. It looks like he did not make the grid tonight. Hidayala Tula Hasnudin, I think it is, also has retired tonight. We've also lost Nuno Pieratang from tonight's race. We may have also lost Chanda Wahuji Yong, and Carlos Fu is sitting in the pits taking repair at the moment. See now Sean Thompson trying to make his way back up. He's sitting in 12th now, and he's got Mike Simon behind him, and quite a bit of work to do. But the gap now, folks, Damien McPhee 7.3 seconds down from our race leader. If we look at our race leader, that is Abrafadi. Sorry if I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, but his last lap 2:12.514. Mikko Nasi just behind him now, 3.3 seconds behind, 2:11.869. Then you can see Damien McPhee's got him in his sights, 2:11.053, and 7.3 seconds down.
Yes, certainly. Abirafti still leading the race now with just under 9 minutes to go. I think he'll have to put up quite a fierce fight in the laps to come if he wants to maintain his 1st position.
Yeah, well, at the moment you can see just down the track Mikko Nasi and Abrafadi there, and the fun thing is, as this race progresses, I think it's going to compress up, because we can see now Mikko coming through, then Damien just coming through. But if we look at Abrafadi here and get a bit of a gap, and we'll just eyeball it, but they're well within viewing distance of each other at the moment.
Certainly, I think the sort of space is starting to shrink by just a bit, and we might well see quite an interesting three-way battle for top 3 in the laps to come.
Yeah, so we've got a Ford GTE leading this. He's been chased down by a pack of Ferraris, and I'm going to go for the Ford, because I'm a Ford man. I can't afford a Ferrari as well. Well, I couldn't afford one of those Fords either.
Yeah, I can't even afford a car here in Singapore.
You probably wouldn't need a car in Singapore, would you?
No, bicycle.
So we're looking out of the bumper cam here of Abrafadi. Last lap 2:13.205. The gap back to Mikko Nasi, 2 seconds. Then Damien McPhee sitting at 5.2 seconds down from these guys, with probably around about 3, possibly 4 laps of racing to go.
Yeah, likely so, and I think we're just seeing Mikko's sort of timing difference against Abirafti reducing lap by lap, and I think within the next couple of laps he should be able to face off Abi for the race lead.
Yeah, so your top 10 at the moment, we've got Abrafadi leading, Mikko Nasi 2nd, Damien McPhee 3rd, 4th David Lord, 5th Mike Burdett, Ilham Halabi is sitting in 6th. 7th is, well, now Cody Birch has just got Ilham and pushing into 7th. Andrew Stokes 8th, Shannon Mason 9th, 10th is Mark Simon. So we can see further back this battle between Cody Birch and Ilham here. Cody's taken that position. Ilham's not going to roll over and let him get away, and in fact he's having a look on the inside. Great move there as they go too wide down here out of Puon into what's that, Campus I think it is.
Yeah, well, I think Ilham has just managed to capitalize on Cody's small mistake there into, I think, Puon. As they now enter Stavelot corner, I think Cody might stand a chance here to regain his position.
Yeah, we'll see if Cody can do that.
Yes, as we can see now, Cody perhaps reducing the gap, going off a bit wide there, perhaps reducing the gap a bit between himself and Ilham, breaking into the Bastov chicane. Just gotten a bit close, right? Not really yet.
Yeah, then just up ahead of them we have David Lord, Mike Burdett going at it. Mike's now trying to make a move on David and get into 4th position, so it's all starting to compress now. Keeping an eye up front though, Mikko Nasi 1.5 seconds down from Abrafati, 3.8 seconds down is Damien McPhee, and closing, so it's on. But let's have a look at Mike Burdett here going after David Lord. Mike's on the outside, too wide down Camel Straight, and we'll see who's got the bravest here. David tucks back in and Mike takes that position. Then further down is Ilham Halabi, Cody Bircher, and it looks like Ilham won that race down Camel Straight.
Yeah, I think he's managed to make a pass on him, or rather he's managed to hold on to his position, and yep, as they now go into Brussels hairpin, try to maintain their momentum in here. Cody going slightly loose there. Yeah, I don't think there's any move at this stage.
Yeah, Cody's dropped quite a fair ways back there. In fact, just trying to see, no he hasn't, because well, he's dropped quite a bit off Ilham there, but we can see now David Lord, he's trying to catch up to Mike Burdett, and to make that move then of course Damien McPhee, Mikko Nasi, you can see them, and Abrafati now. There's only probably about 3 car lengths separating these guys.
Yeah, I think RB has just had quite a nice amount of time. Okay, just from the comps, RB has just given the position to Mikko Nasi.
He gave the position, okay,
yeah,
and okay, so he's basically going to let them through. What's he going to do with Damien here? Damien's going the outside, so it looks like Abrafati does not want to contest this race, and he's let both of them through here.
Well, I think it's just, it might be that he might want to remain more conservative on his points, perhaps, like safety rating perhaps. I think it sounds like he's running out of fuel now.
Okay, well that would explain it. He's bailed right out. Let's jump on board with him. He's oh my goodness, hopefully he hasn't done that, but we're riding on board with him, folks. He's definitely backing out of it there. Yeah, he's run out of fuel. Can you believe it? He's 1 lap short and he's run out of fuel coming into Camel Straight.
Yeah, leading always long, and just to have to save fuel at this stage of the race, I think it's going to be quite painful for him.
He's going to have to do more than save fuel, mate. The car's cutting in and out. It's, you know, there's nothing unless he's turning it off and he's rolling it down the hill. But this is dreadful for Abrafati here.
Absolutely painful there, you're right.
Because they've got 1 minute 47 to go. This isn't the last lap. He's got to do another lap if he can get this car back to the pits, that is.
Yeah, I'm just thinking he might be able to get to the P7 because he might just be clutching into conserve, but he might still have some fuel left to make it home.
Yeah, well, that's a heck of a turn, isn't it? He was looking great up until then, but that explains why he's pulled over there, and man, that is bad. Yeah, the viewers are saying he's actually clutching in that car to try to save fuel at the moment, but you can only do that for so long before you get swamped by the people. We can see now Mike Burdett's got through. David Lord is on his way to go through as well. We'll see if Abrafati comes in now, or if he's going to go for that last lap. And 6.3 kilometres, I think it is, that he'll have to make. And he's staying out.
Yes, I think he's just being a bit smart on his fuel consumption there. Saving just enough fuel for 2 laps.
Yeah, so he is clutching in, folks. That's what the viewers are telling us. But yeah, I tell you what, no good at all. But 21 seconds of this race remains, folks, and then we'll be into the last lap. We'll see. We should get the white flag this lap. There's another car slowing. I'm not sure if he's slowing to let them through at LeCombs. I think he was, just to let Damien and Mikko through. But we're on the last lap now, folks. Mikko Nasi, the gap. Let's get a live gap here with our telemetry. 1.7 seconds. So I think Mikko's going to hold on to this.
Oh, he's actually gone wide there. And I think Damien has just come behind him, passes him on the right, and Damien has just got to the race lead.
Certainly does, and we'll go back and have a look at that. It looks like he ran wide on the corner with no name. I don't know if he's hit the wall or not, but all of a sudden they've proved a liar of me once again. So at the moment, Damien McPhee's leading Mikko Nasi. They've got 13.5 seconds gap back to Mike Burdett. Then we've got Abrafati holding off in 4th, David Lord at this stage. But let's stay with these two.
Yes, as they now go on to perhaps the last half lap of this race, it looks like it might be a fight down to the last corner, last chicane.
Yeah, it certainly will. Mikko's going to have to go hard under brakes here if he has any chance of winning it, I think. But at the moment, Damien's looking great. He's come from last on the grid to win this race tonight in the space of 25 minutes, as now he comes out of the chicane to take the checkered flag for race 2, round 4 of the reverse grid race here at Spa, and then Mikko Nasi second. We can see Mike Burdett, he will come across the line in 3rd position. Abrafati, he's going to hold on to 4th, and then the 24, that's Ilham, has spun it coming out of the chicane, but he should hang on to it. Oh no, he won't. He's lost 2 positions in that spin. That's going to bring him home in about 5th or 6th position.
It looks like he's actually finished at 7th. Definitely quite disappointing for him.
Yeah, and while the guys are going across, let's go back and have a look at what happened to Mikko Nasi. And my goodness me. Just trying to work out where this happened. Okay, so it would have happened back up here. So we're up the top of the track now, coming down to the corner with no name, and we'll have a look at what's happened here. It's an interesting part of the circuit to go wide, up on the ripple strips. Yeah, it just snapped mid-corner and straight into the wall. He was lucky he didn't bend his steering doing that.
Yeah, I guess it's just a case of sort of oversteer, try to enter the corner and try to correct it, but yeah, just went straight into the wall.
Yeah, well, when they snap like that, there's not a lot you can really do, and that part of the circuit, there's not a lot of runoff at the best of times. So yeah, bad luck there for Mikko. I think he could see Damien coming, and he was absolutely pushing it to the limit. But what a race we had.
Absolutely, a great race today. I think especially for Damien and Nico, having made their way from the rear end of the grid all the way up. But I think it was even more heartbreaking for RB there, having held on to the first to the race lead there, only to sort of lose his lead at 2 to go. Perhaps due to field calculation, and yeah, I think this was a race for them to, you know, remember and forget.
Probably he still come home 4th though, but you know, it's good in a way. Like he short filled, yeah, he did, and he was probably gambling on that, which is fine, but he had to change strategy, and he did get that car home to his credit. So a good result there in 4th position for Abrafati. I'm sure he's going to be disappointed for not winning it, but I tell you what, he'll still be pretty happy with 4th position, I'm sure. Let's have a look at our race results, and it's going to be interesting, Iwi Hun, to see exactly how many places people moved. I'm predicting though, Damien McPhee will be the biggest mover and shaker of this race, coming from last to first. I don't think anyone else can move further up the grid than he did.
Yeah, crazy performance from 25th to 1st in just in what, 25 minutes. And I think Nicolas in 2nd, he made it from 13th to 2nd, so that was 11 positions. Okay, and for Mike Burdett, also quite a big shaker there, coming home 3rd from 23rd on the grid.
Yeah, so 24 positions up Damien McPhee, 11 from Miko Nasi. Mike Burdett up 20 positions in 3rd. Abrafati, he started, of course, he started out as 2nd, so he dropped 2 positions to come home in 4th. Cody Bircher also dropped 2 positions to come home in 5th. Andrew Stokes up 10 positions to come home 6th in this race. Ila Malabi up 14 positions, come home in 7th. Then we've got Sean Thompson in 8th. 9th, Saiful Arifin 10th, Matthew Clowett 11th, Thomas Hinds, and then we've got Jamie McKnight coming home in 12th position. Home in 13th was Mark Simon, then Indra Firianto 14th, 15th Andrew Embadar, then we had Ross Rizzo come home in 16th, David Lord 17th, Mark Lang, he was racing out there, in 18th. We didn't see anything of Mark tonight. Azrael Nasley home in 19th, Mohammed Faraz bin Mortadza in 20th, 21st Shannon Mason, Carlos Fu, he was classified 22nd but 11 laps down. Then we had Chandra Wayudra Yong and Nuno Piera Tang, so we're definitely into our retirements here, folks. And then of course Hidia Tula and Brad Watson were the last of our retirement. So we lost about six drivers tonight in that race.
Certainly quite a number of drivers lost there, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of them might have been sort of dropped due to incident limits.
Yeah, I'd say definitely that would be the case. We've got Carlos Fu in the room down there. We might bring Carlos up and just find out exactly what went wrong with his campaign in that second race. And I'll let you do the interview, Wee Hun, because I like throwing you in the deep end.
Right, let's bring him up. Hey Carlos, welcome to the RRTV commentary box. And how was your race today? Yeah.
He's speechless. Yeah, I think he's just throwing the microphone. He's out of here. He doesn't want to even speak to you, Ian. No, his microphone's, in all seriousness, his microphone's probably not working. But anyway, we might see if Tobias wants to come up. We didn't see Tobias in this race because he must have been in the other room, so we might get a bit of a report on that race.
Oh, a bit of static from Carlos there.
I think he's blowing raspberries at you. I'm sure that's what it is.
Still static. Sorry, Carlos. I don't think
we'll try and bring Carlos back up a bit later. Okay, let's go to Tobias Cherney and we'll see how Tobias went.
Cool.
Hi Tobias, welcome back to the RRTV Combox. We didn't see you in the room we were in. You must have been in the second room. How did your race unfold in there?
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for having me again. It was very interesting. Started there, similar like Damien in the first, in the room you covered, from second last, and it went pretty well. I finished. I mean, it took a while to make my way up, but I finished third eventually, and yeah, it was a very interesting race. Was not so much carnage as expected. But nevertheless, there were a couple of cars that I could easily pass because they were not on the track anymore. But yeah, it was good fun. Unfortunately, there was some... Anthony started further ahead, so he started from 7th, but had some more contacts and got disqualified due to the incident limit. And yeah, I think in general it was a good race, yeah. Unfortunately, couldn't be in the split you covered.
Yeah, I think the way that the grids were organised was there was a bit of confusion there. But as far as the incident limits go, did it affect many of the drivers out there in your race?
I see. Basically, maybe well, 6-7 drivers that that got DQ'd. Two also, which are but still being scored. So I think they're got their incident limit after the line, but yeah, 6-7 drivers got affected by that. Now at least 2 laps down.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same as in the room we were in. I think we had about 6 cars retire from our race. How did Anthony Winkleman go in your room? Did he have a better run than race 1?
Yeah, he made his way up to second, and there was a netcode incident with the current leader. He waited for him to so that he could he readdressed the position. But then in the second final lap, he had a spin coming through Blanchimont, which moved him over the incident limit, and he got DQ'd then. But yeah, he had chances to win here.
Okay, fair enough. So, Tobias, are we going to see you back here next week?
I'm not sure if... No, there is this 6 hours Watkins Glen special event where I will be racing with my team. So possibly not, maybe in 2 weeks time, but I cannot promise anything because there might be something else, and in 3 weeks time, you know, it goes on and goes on. Weekends are covered with certain special events and of course some real life events as well.
Yeah, fair enough. The main thing though is it sounds like you've enjoyed your run tonight at Spa. And what did you think of this reverse grid race? Are you in favour of them, or would you prefer the normal gridded races?
Assuming it would have worked the way it should have been, it certainly spices things up and can definitely make for some interesting races. But the major critical factor is if the driving pace of the drivers within one race then is too big. The faster guys who are starting from the back then really have to be very careful to make passes. Don't try to make 10 passes in the first lap and so on. And maybe it's better to just reverse the top 10 or something like this, which is a common way how we are doing it in a German league where I'm racing. There's a 20-minute sprint with then the top 10 or top 12 being reversed for a 60-minute main race.
Okay, so that's something the organisers could look at. Although I did really enjoy watching Damien come from last to first. That was exciting. But anyway, Tobias, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. Before we let you go, though, is there any sponsors or anyone you need to give a shout out to?
Well, no, I don't think so. I would like to thank Mark for still running the league as awesome as it is since so many years, and thanks for having me here. It was a great fun to be here battling in the first race, and also 2 weeks ago it was great racing, fair racing with the guys on track. And yeah, whenever I will find the time I will appear here, and thanks you guys for the broadcast. Top quality as usual, and yeah, see you next time.
No worries, Tobias. Always a pleasure to have you up here, and we look forward to seeing you next time you can make it down under to one of our races.
Yeah, down under is a good point. I will have my lunch now. So see you later.
Yeah, it's just about bedtime for me, nearly midnight here in Australia. But anyway, mate, have a great lunch, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, goodbye.
So Weehan, it looks like Carlos may have his microphone fixed, so we'll bring him up, and you can have a chat with him, and I'll have a chat with the race organisers.
Sure. Hey Carlos, has your mic been sorted yet?
Yeah, I think so. My mic has been solved. Thank you. Hi, Bernie. How are you doing?
Hey Carlos, yeah, I'm good. Hey, so how was the race today? I mean, looking from the results, there might have been that you didn't finish.
Well, for me, it's not a good day for me because there's some incidents around, and it was good for my team this weekend because actually we got 3 drivers on Group A, and they finished in 5th, 10th, and 13th places. So it's a good result for us this week.
Yeah, certainly was. Yeah, I was looking at the first race just so yes. I think your team has done quite a good job, a really good job this race. But would you want to talk us through your race?
Sorry, there is a noise reduction out there.
Sorry, no, I was saying, would you please talk us through the race from your own perspective?
Well, actually, this race was actually quite a fast race, and the first time ever that I've been joined SRA that they made it 2 races. Actually, is fun and is very, how do I say, competitive during this period of time.
No doubt it's challenging because you have sort of a change in element in that the sort of faster drivers are behind and they will sort of give more pressure to the guys in front. But yeah, I think it is something new and it's something that does add more interest, more competition into the series.
Well, yes, it's quite good for is getting a lot of competitions around with the drivers and fast drivers together. So that might be having a good improvement for us, especially for me. I've been stopping for race for 2 seasons already, so that learned a lot.
Definitely, I think this has been a race for many drivers to pick up and learn. But anyway, Bernie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, not at the moment, Carlos. Just bad luck, mate. We saw you in the pits towards the end of that race, but yeah, the main thing is, did you enjoy tonight's round at Spa?
Well, yes, Bernie, actually I've been enjoying. Unfortunately, there's 2 consecutive incidents in consecutive 2 laps and wrecked my car, so there's no way for me to continue the race.
Oh,
but actually it's what happy.
Oh, that's a shame, mate. Yeah, we saw you in the pits and we thought something must have happened to you, but we look forward to seeing you next week. I'm not sure where we're going, but hopefully you'll have a better run next week, mate.
All right, thank you, Bernie. Thank you, Wayhan. See you guys next week.
Okay, see you, mate.
Yeah, see you, man. Before we let you go, sorry, do you have any would you like to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Well, yeah, we'd like to thank Sim Racer Asia for organizing this race, and of course RRTV, Bernie, and Wayhan for the commentary and interviewing, as well as Macau China Sim Racing Association. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos.
Fantastic, folks. That was Carlos Fu, and not too happy with the results, but it sounds like he had a pretty bad run. Our statistician, folks, has been working overtime here. Did you know, Weehan, in 1961, Ferrari had a 1, 2, 3, 4 finish at this track?
I think I wasn't even born at that time, bro.
Fair enough, but our statistician's now having a well-earned break, and hopefully he enjoyed thumbing his way through through all those statistics. I definitely enjoyed reading them, and hopefully the viewers enjoyed a few facts there. But folks, looking at our week ahead here on RRTV, the action still continues. We had last night the Australian Online Supercar Championship. If you missed that race, check our YouTube channel for the replay. Then of course we've just had the GTE Asia Pacific. Tomorrow night we change gears, so to speak, and we'll be bringing bringing you the Australasian Super Skips, and you can check either on iRacing Live when that will be broadcast in your own local time, or on our Facebook page, but that will be tomorrow night. And then of course on Monday night we back that up with the Monday night Skip Barber Lights, which is also the Australian Strength of Field race. Now if you like your open wheelers, that is a must see. We have a lot of Europeans come down for that race because it's generally around about the second or third highest I-rating strength of field race for the week, and we're getting a lot of interest. I think last week we had 4 splits, the week before that 5, so generally it's good racing. The Australasian Super Skips, however, is also very good because they have to do a pit stop, which always mixes things up. But Weehan, sounds like that microphone of yours has been giving you a lot of grief tonight. You sound like a little bit like RoboCop sitting in a bucket of water, but I do appreciate you coming up tonight and commentating with us.
Oh yeah, thanks, buddy. It's always been a pleasure to be able to commentate and just have fun doing this and hopefully learn a thing or two. But I think might be the software end of things, because I just did the pre-race show and I don't think there were issues there, so it might be the settings.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like something's changed from when you did the pre-race show to now, but I'm sure you'll sort it out for next week. But anyway, folks, on behalf of Weehan Chan, I'm Bernie Wiemers. Thanks for joining us tonight. I hope you did enjoy our coverage of this race, and hopefully we'll have your company tomorrow night. But if we don't, have a great work week, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon.